Sorry, I've got to rush this bit. I'm running out of phone storage. So one of my friends messaged me recently about top 10 tips of anxiety. So I'm going to do a help video every Friday. And so I'll link my Instagrams and emails down below if you want to message me any questions that you've got. I upload every Monday and Friday. So yeah, these are the top 10 tips of anxiety. Please enjoy. Number one is 1 minute. Just gotta find where I put it. This is preparedness, isn't it? Okay, number one is excessive worrying. So obviously a lot of people worry, but I mean like worrying about everything, and it's like persistent worrying about things for most days for a week for about 6 months. So like worrying about tiny things that maybe most people don't worry about, or even if it's worrying about big things, but you worry a lot most days of the week for 6 months. Then it might mean that you have some sort of anxiety. It might not. Again, it might just be that you're worry a bit more, but it is definitely something to think about. Number two is sleep problems. So obviously, it might just be a sleeping issue, or it might just be that it. And I don't mean like not being able to sleep. I mean like constantly struggling to get to sleep, or struggling getting to sleep. Obviously it's normal to like toss or turn if you've got something big the next day. Sorry, I'm holding it with my hand, by the way, so if my thumb keeps coming into the camera, that's why. So yeah, it's like if you constantly lie awake or worried or agitated, like it could be about something specific or nothing at all, then it could be a sign of anxiety. Number three is irrational fears. So everyone's scared of something, whether it's height, flying, snakes, whatever. But what I mean is like it could be a phobia or something. You could kind of phobia, which is a form of anxiety. So it's like when you're so worried about something that interferes in your everyday life, so you might not know about it until you've got to. So if you don't fly very often and you've got a fear of flying, you might not notice it until you have to go flying. But if it interferes with you a lot, then it could be a problem. Number four is muscle tension. So it's like constantly tensing your muscles or clenching your jaw or balling your fist or stuff like that. It can be a sign of anxiety because you're tensing up, you're anxious, and regular exercise can help with that quite a lot. Okay. Number five is chronic indigestion. So things like IBS quite often is related to stress. Obviously, not always. It can just be IBS. Like I've got IBS and I'm not anxious, but it's like stomach aches, cramping, bloating, gas, constipation, and/or diarrhea. Like any of them can kind of be a sign of anxiety. Okay, number six is stage fright. So obviously everybody gets a few butterflies or can get quite nervous before a performance. But if you're excessive, like worrying and really long about something, it's not always the best. And if like you get talked to a teacher about it or a friend and it still doesn't help, then that's not good. So it could be like you worry for a few days or weeks up to an event, and if you get through it, you dwell afterwards like thinking, oh my god, everybody hated it. Okay, number seven is self-consciousness. So like when you're maybe in your situation and you think, oh my god, everybody's looking at me, they're all laughing at me, they're all talking about me, and it could mean that you blush, you start trembling, you get nauseous, could also mean sweating, difficulty talking, and it can affect your school and work. Number eight, I'm going to stop trying to do numbers now, is panic attacks. So it's not always to do with it. Some people do get, especially teenagers, I find, get anxiety attacks a bit more. That isn't a sign of anxiety, but it can be it can be quite a big sign of anxiety. So it can include a panic attack can be things like breathing problems. You can get a pounding or racing heart. It could be tingling or numb hands. You can start sweating. You can get weak. You can get dizzy. You can have chest pain. You can be hot or cold, and it also affects you mentally. Whether it's like you start crying or get really upset or something. Number nine is perfectionism. So you're like always constantly judging yourself in a way. It's like you always think you need to be perfect, and like even if it's especially like OCD can affect things like this. So like everything's got to be perfect and lined up. Number 10 finally is compulsive behaviour. So it's like if you let your radio on 3 and if it gets like if someone puts it on 4, you've got to change it back. Like you can't deal with it. So it's a bit like things like that. Okay, so those are just 10 signs of different anxiety. And like I said, if you've got one of these or you've got some of these, it doesn't necessarily mean you've got anxiety. It could just mean you struggle a bit more. So yeah, please like, comment, share, subscribe. A lot of people have been watching these recently, which is great, but not subscribing. So yeah, click the red button down below, subscribe, be part of our family. And yeah, I love you all. I'll be posting on Monday. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'll link my Instagrams and emails below if you want to message me any problems. Bye, nerdies.